evening everybody, welcome along to the channel, I hope you're doing well. Today we are taking a little bit of a walk down memory lane. We're going to be taking a look at one of the best mods for the original rFactor, and that is of course the historic GT and touring car mod from the HistorX Modding Team. So this particular mod is one that I've spent an awful lot of time in way back when rFactor was the king of simulation on the PC, and it was where everyone was racing, and the mods that were coming through were incredible works of art as far as we were concerned at that time, and this particular mod is no exception to that. Not only is it incredible to drive, it has such depth, and we're going to go into that a little bit tonight as well. We're going to have a look at the cars which are available and do some driving, do some racing, and just kind of talk you through it and just show you what it's like. So super excited for this. It's going to be a bit of fun, and we're going to hopefully enlighten a few people who may not have even seen this before in the past. It's a particular mod which, if you're new to the world of sim racing, you may not have come across. So hopefully you'll watch this and enjoy it. But little disclaimer before we start: we are in rFactor 1, not rFactor 2. So don't expect the visuals to be absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, they're still good, but they're not up to modern day standards. So let's jump in and take a look then. So first things first, here is the wonderful menu system which we have in the HistorX mod. So let me just get myself in here as well, and we'll go through it. So back when this was released, the menu system for rFactor was quite basic in its format. You just had like the main menu pieces down the side and then a rotating version of the car. But to have these these video clips inserted within the UI, it just gives such a great feel. And obviously you've got the historic feel to it all, and the text and everything. It just gives you that really nice period look. So first thing that we see, obviously, it's really, really cool to see. So let's have a look in the car selection options and see what we've got to deal with. So there's an impressive array of cars to choose from. We're not going to be able to drive all of them tonight because there are simply too many, but we will drive some of the best, and we'll take your picks on which one we should drive as well. Hey Funky, how are you doing? Welcome along. We're going to do some old school rFactor this evening. So we have all these different manufacturers down the side here. Alfa Romeo, Alpine, AMC, Aston Martin, Aston Healey, Austin, BMW, Chevrolet, Tomaso, Dodge, Ferrari, Fiat, Ford, Jaguar, Lotus, Maserati, Mercedes-Benz, Plymouth, Pontiac, Porsche, Renault, Shelby, Simca, and TVR. So lots of different manufacturers, but if you click into them, you can see there's various different cars available. So we have, of course, as you can see here in front of us, the beautiful Alfa GTA, a couple of versions of it. So we have these ones here, which are, I think, well, these are 65 era cars, various different period liveries going on here as well. These are all thoroughly thought out and thoroughly implemented in the actual mod itself. So these are all as cars were either in period or in modern day historic stuff. So they have the FIA TC65 class, which was a more modern day historic championship running in Europe. And so these are some of the cars from that particular class. And then you've also got various other ones. So WSC GTs, which are the old school original cars. So that's just the first lot of 65 Alphas. Then we've got 66 eras, which have the Trans Am cars. So these are running in the Trans Am class, along with, of course, the big V8 muscle cars. So we've got those, and then we also have the beefed up version, the 2000 cc rather than 1600 cc, the GT AM, which is a bit of a beast. It's got wide arches, obviously more power, and beautiful pepper pot wheels on the inside as well. It's a really nice looking thing. And obviously we've got the original Auto Delta liveries in here as well, running the European Touring Car Series, and yeah, just incredible. Hey Boudreaux, you weren't aware of this? Ah, awesome, there we go. So that's one person that can experience the wonderfulness that is the historic GT and touring car mod for rFactor. So welcome. I hope you enjoy this, Budero. I hope you actually enjoy seeing some of these fabulous cars on track. So that's the Alphas, and of course heaps of liveries, which we won't go all the way through. Alpines, we have two different variants, or a few different variants, I suppose. Actually, we have the A110 in its basic form, which is the 1100cc engine. The Alpine A110s are a pretty little car, a very interesting design, and they actually are, I want to say mid-engine, but I think they're probably more rear-engined. Not entirely sure on that one, but you can see it's quite a unique shape. Of course, you have the lovely... Let's keep that spinning around so you can see it properly. So that's the 1100. Then they have a bigger engine, 1600, which has some additional spotlights on the front, which is kind of more traditional how you would see the Alpine A110s. And then we have the 1800 wide bodies. Look at that with his body kit on it. How cool does that look? I love it. It's just so beefed up, and little vents on the back there, and wide arches, and big front bumper on it. Looks so cool. And then we have the more modern Alpine, which is the A310. Now this one runs in the 70s class one, and this is quite a rare beast, this thing. But again, it's a cool looking car, and it's one of those ones that you just don't get in modern sim racing titles. You just don't get to see these kind of cars represented in there. So some fabulous looking cars, and again, even within this, you've got variations. So this first one here, we have the big spoiler on the rear, and then you go to some of these other ones here, and they just got a little lower spoiler rather than a full rear wing. So you get variations all the way through it. So you can't just pick one and go, that's how the rest of them are going to look. There's a variation on it. So that's the official Renault livery, which is very nice indeed. So that's the Alpines. Now, the AMCs, we have the AMC Javelin, part of the Trans Am class, big brutish thing. And we'll be doing some Trans Am stuff because they're really, really fun cars to drive. And of course, you've got the Penske Racing livery, which is a very iconic looking livery for this car. So that's the AMC Javelin. Aston Martin represented by the DB4 Zagato. Now this is a special body version of the DB4, so not the standard DB4 as you would see in like the GT spec. This has some Zagato Coachworks stuff going on with it, so it's got a smoother body, quite a nice looking little car, and obviously you've got a Moss livery here with the British Racing Green official car. So that's the Aston. Austin Healey, then we have, of course, the 3000, the big Healey, and running its Jaguar straight six engine. Very, very nice cars. I love Austin Healey's. Then we have some tiny little Austin Healey sprites. These things are slow, but very cute. Very nice looking things, these cars. Very happy looking cars. So that's the 58 versions, and we have 59 spec as well, running in the SCCA championships. That's the Austin Healey selection. Austin, now this is of course where we find the Mini Coopers. Now we have, again, variations in engine size on here. This is the level of detail we've gone into, so we've not just got Mini Coopers and be done with it. So we have I'm going to come back to the top one in a minute. We have the 998s, which are, this is your basic one. It's got a key sticking out the back. It's just this is silly, isn't it? But yeah, it's the 998 series, so the smallest engine capacity version of it. And then we have 1071s racing in the Australian series by looks of things. And then we have 1275s, which are more well known in the mini world. This is what your typical Cooper S would be running, as the 1275s. And then we have a few more 1275s from 66, and again various livery options to go with that. We have, stepping up a bit further, the 1310s. Now this is where they've been bored out so massively that this is the extent of what you can do with an A series engine. But these are full fat versions of the Mini, and they are pretty rapid. And I have some more 970s at the bottom of the list there as well. So plenty of selections for those mini fans who love this popular little car. Now, I left out the top one because this one is particularly silly. It doesn't have a key sticking out the back. However, this one is called the Twinny. And there's a reason why there's vents there and on the back, because this is a twin-engined Mini. This is a real thing. This isn't just made up for modding purposes. This is an actual car, so obviously we have to give that a go at some point. So that's the Minis. BMW then, represented by a few different models again. So we have the 2002 Ti, which is quite a popular car in AMS2. And there's also the 2002 Tii, which is, again, a little bit more prepared in terms of its horsepower and things. So let's have a look at the power ratings on here. So it's in kilowatts here, but 125 kilowatts for the 2002 Ti, and 187 kilowatts for the Tii. So just a little bit of an increase in horsepower. And we also have the 2800 CS, which is a much bigger BMW, running World Sports Car events, these particular types of cars. You can notice on the front of this other one, it's got some spotlights on it, running at Le Mans. And this one is a Zandvoort spec car and a Nürburgring spec car as well. So a few different options on that one. And then, of course, we get into the CSL, which is just one of those cars which is just incredible to look at, the old Batmobile CSLs with that lovely straight six engine note. So we have two variations of this. So we have the 3.2 litres, which are the Alpina body kits on them from 73 and 74. And then we also have the 3.5 litre CSLs, which are running the Schnitzer bodywork on them, which is a little bit nicer to look at. It has more aero going on. It's got this triple support on the rear wing on the back there, and it's just a incredible car. Frankie says, does each engine drive a separate axle on that Mini? That is a good question. Let's just have a quick look at that. Does it say whether we are... No, it doesn't say whether it's front or rear wheel drive. I guess we're going to find out when we drive it, as opposed as to how it behaves on track. But yeah, two 1275cc engines in that thing. Chevrolet are represented by, first off, we have Camaros. So a few variations, 67, 68, and 70. So the older spec Camaros being this beautiful shape, which we absolutely love and adore this particular one. Very, very classic lines. And then we get through to the 68 cars, which have the iconic Sunoco livery on them. And then the 70 car is slightly different in the way that it looks, in terms of it's the later version. So we have the four round lights at the rear, and then the kind of shark nosy front end on it, which you've seen from the image on our starting screen. So here we go. So that's those. And then, of course, we have to have some Corvettes in here as well. So we have the original 65 Corvettes C2s, which are just beautiful things. It's the roundness of them, the shape of them is so nice. So we have, again, a couple of variants on that. We have the coupe version, which is this one. And then there's also a roadster version, which has the roof cut off, essentially. So a few options on those. These are running in FIA GTC 65 spec. And then, of course, we've got even more Corvettes to look at. So we have the 74 cars, which are the next one along. I think this is a C3. This is a later version of the C3, I think. So it has the kind of molded bubble lights rather than just the flat lenses over them. What else we got here? This is the L88 from 69, which is a little bit aggressive with that splitter on the front with some spotlights on it, which is very, very cool. This is the earlier spec of that C3. And then we have the ZL1 as well on here from 69, which is this one here. So there's just subtle differences between them, but it's all chronologically accurate. It's all accurate to the particular cars of how they were in period, which is just so neat. Thrustmaster. Let's go through these. We will get to doing some racing. I've just got so many cars to look at on here. So we have the wonderful Pantera here, which massive rear tires on it, and big V8 under the middle of the car there. And again, with the factory Thrustmasters, there's a few variations in how they look on the game as well. You'll probably recognize that livery from GT Legends. So we have a GTS version of the Pantera, which is without all the spoilers and things. It's a little bit more basic in its look. And there's Pantera Private 76, which are, I guess, private entries of this particular car rather than works funded or works developed cars. Again, with fairly basic body kits on them. Dodge, another one of the Trans Am cars. We have the big Dodge Challenger, which is a fairly hefty looking car. It's going to be interesting to try and hustle that thing around a track. Ferrari, of course, there's Ferrari. We have a whole heap of 250 GTOs, of course. One of the most expensive cars in the world, and very, very nice car indeed. 275 GTBs, again, really, really nice V12s. Do love that particular car. We have a 330 GTO, which is very similar to a 250 GTO, just with a larger engine capacity on them. Again, V12. Then we get into some prototype action. We have some 330Ps in here as well, which are just incredible to look at. That's the David Piper livery in the green, very iconic car. And we have a couple of Nart liveries there. We have, we've got dirt on it as well, so it looks really authentic, which is really cool. So we have a 330P3, P3, which is the one more. Well, I guess no, it's a P4 that's more widely known. This is what you would get at Targa Florio. There's so many variations of each one. And then we also have the Ferrari Daytonas GTB4s, which is quite a cool looking car, which was at the time given as one of Ferrari's most enjoyable cars and beautiful cars to look at the time. We also have the small Ferrari, the Dino, the 246 GTS, which is not a car that's not really featured too much in the world of sim racing, but it's cool to have it in here as well as an option, which is really good. Miguel, greetings from El Salvador. Welcome. Good to have you with us. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're keeping well. Thanks for joining us. Funky says, just checked, and yes, has separate front and rear gearboxes as well. I think it only has one gear stick though. Okay. So yeah, so front engine drives the front axle, rear engine drives the rear axle, so it's essentially four-wheel drive. So could be fun, huh? There we go. Fiats, we have the Abarth, of course, with its engine cover propped up for cooling purposes, and its big fat lower bumper. So we have the 1000 TCs, which are both FIA spec and Trans Am spec, which are those ones. And we also have the 1000 TCRs running the Copper Melee specification, which has a slightly more aerodynamic open engine cover on the back rather than having the kind of metal tubing to hold it up. It has a proper formed wing-like design to it. So those are fun little cars. And then we have the smaller option, the 850 TCs, which has the engine cover closed. These are slow little cars, but good handling nonetheless. That's the Fiat offering. Jaguar, of course, we're going to have a selection of E-types. So we have some E-type coupes, which have the sloping rear end. We have the E-type lightweights, which are the coupe style ones with the board holes on the little vents across the top and the rear. Yeah, as you can see, these are you know, like they've been in at the end of a 24-hour race. They're just filthy. They could have been given a clean. Some of them are a bit cleaner than others. But yeah, so that's the E-Type lightweights, and then we have the touring car, the Mark II Jag, which is fabulous car. Various different versions of it, so from other series around the world, complete with its wonderful wood dash. So that's Jaguar. Lotus, we have the 26R Elan, which is a really well-handling little car, lightweight, low power, but it can go around corners like crazy. It really gives it to some of the larger engine capacity cars. We have the little Elite, which has a Coventry Climax engine in it. A couple of options of Elite from 59 and 61. Again, quite a nice handling car, but quite low powered as well. So you have to have the right track for that to come into its own. We even have the 63 Elites in here as well, which are running FIA GTC spec, which is those ones there. And of course, we have my favorite car of all time, which is the Lotus Cortina. There's a few versions of it in here. So this one's listed under Lotus, but there are some listed under Ford as well. Did we miss Ford, by the way? We did. We completely missed the Fords. Oh boy, there's loads in here. So we have Capris, the 2600cc Capri, and then its bigger brother, the 3100cc, with its body kit on it and its spoilers, which is a wonderful car. We have another selection of RS2 600s ones, which are more endurance spec with the spot lamps on the front. We have the Mark I Escort, which is more known for its rallying, but it did very well in circuit racing as well, especially with its fat tires and wide arches. They look absolutely spectacular. So cool. V8 side of things, we have some Ford Falcons, of course. The big V8. So that's from various other series, and we also have a rally spec one as well, complete with lots of dirt. And then various Falcon Sprints from 64 and 65 with Trans Am and FIA TC spec. We have the GT40, and the list is just endless. It just keeps going. We have so many of them, and with the GT40, you really do have the comprehensive history of this car. It's not just here's a GT40, off you go. You go from everything from this one. This is the prototype GT40, which had its wire wheels, and this was like the beginnings of the GT40 in its very early days. Then you have the 64 cars and all their glory, and then you have the Mark I lightweight, which starts to resemble a little bit more what people really imagine when you say the word GT40. That's what people kind of think up in their mind of what they look like. You have a Mark I Roadster in here as well, so with the roof off it. If you ever seen a GT40 with a roof off it, maybe not, but they exist. We have 65 Mark Is. There's just so many GT40s. And then we have the prototype for the Mark II. We have the X1s as well, which are more prototype cars. This one has the low windscreen and the canards. Very different looking car. That's running the 289cc or cubic inch engine, and this one running the 427. So that's an absolute animal. Mark IIAs with, it's just. What else have we got? X1 47s, more here with the roof off it. The 67 Mirage M1 with the canards. 67 Mark Is. Honestly, it's just, if you love GT40s, this is the mod for you, because you just have everything you could possibly imagine. It's lovely Golf spec livery. and that's the iconic livery with the Golf on there, which is the I'm trying to think of the name now. It's JWAE. I'm trying to think what I know the name of the team, but very, very successful team. And then some 289s from 69. So many GT40s. Of course, we've got more Lotus Cortinas. We have Mustangs for the touring cars to play around with. So we're going to do some touring car racing with the Mustangs and the Minis and things. And then we also have some later Mustangs after we've had these are all 66 notchbacks. But we also have, where are they? Oh, okay, they must be under something else then. Oh, they're under Shelby then, probably. Was it 69? 69? Yeah, so there's a Boss Mustang in here as well. Right, Maserati. Two versions of Maserati. We have the Tipo 60 and 61, which is the Birdcage, which is a really nice little car. And I had opportunity to be up close with these a couple of times due to work, and they are very oily. They have the drive shaft obviously going from the engine at the front to the rear wheels, and then it has these holes in the drive shaft casing which just spit oil out when you're driving, so you get filthy driving one of those. So we're going to try out the bird cages. Mercedes-Benz, we have the 300 SL, which is a very sleek looking car. We have the 300 SLR, which is just so cool. This is the Saga Florio car with Fangio behind the wheel, this particular one. And then we have, of course, the Moss equivalent with its tartan seats. Very, very pretty car. And then we have a 300 SLR as well, which is the Ullenhout type, which is the hard top, which again is just so nice to look at. Plymouth bring their offering for the Trans Am class, which has the Barracuda. Again, another big, wide, highly powered muscle car. We have also the Pontiac Firebirds from the Trans Am class, which is this one's running an LMP one, which is pretty cool. The New Zealand fictional one, this one though. Porsche, what offering have we got from Porsche? We've got various cars here. We have the 904s, which are little prototype style GT cars with its 2-litre boxer engine. We have 906s, which is very much more of a prototype spec. Very, very good car. That was one which, once you got to that in GT Legends, you know you'd done well. We have, of course, 911. So we have some 73 spec cars with its duck bill spoiler on the back. And we have 911 RSRs, which have the big body kits on them here in the Brumos Porsche livery. And we have an RS Turbo, which is a 2.8 livery one. This is a car straight from GT Legends, this one. 911 STs, the 2.5 litres. More endurance spec cars, these ones. 911R, so we have rally spec cars in here as well. And the same, but a circuit racing spec, so the 911S, 2 litres. We have a 911 ST, which these are all looking fairly similar, I will be honest, but they all have their place and they're all equally as welcome in the mod. And then we have one which I find really quite a nice car. It's probably not looked at very much in terms of, you know, if you think Porsche, you don't really think of this particular type of car, but I love the 914. I know it has essentially a van engine in it, but I just think it's such a nice looking thing. It's a bit different to what you'd expect from Porsche, but it's pretty cool, I think. I quite like it. So we have a 2-litre and a 2.5-litre version of the 914. Well, technically the 914/6. Almost at the bottom of the list, and then we'll get to do some driving. We have Renault 8s, the Gordinis, the 1100s. Very slabby, square, boxy, vertical type cars, these ones, but the Renault 8 was actually a good standalone mod in rFactor itself, which was actually quite fun on its own. And then we have, this is a 1300 series, and then we have the GR2, a Group 2 Spec 8 Gordini, which is quite nice indeed. Shelby, we have the Cobras, of course. So we have 289 specification Cobras. Don't know whether we have any hard tops in this one. I think they're all open roadster type Cobras on here actually. 427, the big block, and the completely wild to drive version. We have 47 LM. There we go. So there's our hard top, which is yeah, I quite like a hard top Cobra. Actually, I don't know what you guys think. Would you prefer a roadster or do you prefer a hard top? I think the hard top looks really nice. And then we have the Daytona, which is another beautiful car, running the 427. We have Shelby GT350, so the big beefed up version of the Mustang, so the fastback. Do we have a Hertz livery on here? I don't think we do. I think these are all, yeah, mostly just white with blue stripes. That's fine. Simca, we have a few different ones on here. We have Simca Abarths. They're kind of like a Renault 8 almost. And we have Simca Rallies, which are really quite cool looking things. Rally 2 and then Rally 3s as well. And then we have, finally rounding out the list, we have the TVR Griffiths, which big V8, short wheelbase, rear-wheel drive. Ugh, mad. Okay, so that's our list of cars. We haven't obviously shown everything because there's just far too many to click through them all. So let's go and drive on track. So I think we should probably start off slow and build ourselves up a little bit. So I reckon we take out one of the minis first. So I think we should jump in. Let's just go straight into it. Let's jump in the Twinny, just because I'm curious to see what this is like. So here we go. We'll go with this. Now I've loaded in a few of my favourite rFactor 1 tracks as well. So obviously we've got the original ones on here from ISI as well, but we have got some which I think should be on any rFactor install. Mostly we have the popular ones. We have like the virtual LM tracks. We have Le Mans, we have Mid-Ohio, we have Rouen, we have Sebring as well. But we also have a few other ones which I really enjoy. So we have Mainz Finthen, which is an airfield track. Laguna Seca from Com8 was a good one. We have Crystal Palace and good. I'm going to go to Crystal Palace to kick things off because this is fun. So let's try and find some cars to race against here. So there's so many filters that you can choose from to race these cars against. So let's see if we can find just a touring car. So historic FIA TC65, that'll do. Oh no, that's a shame. So Crystal Palace isn't working for me. We'll have to try something else instead. Just loading back in. It's crashed the game for us. So we'll load back in again. We'll choose another one, which I know works. A 2.7 litre Mini might be faster than you think. Well, yes, it probably would be actually quite quick. So this could be rather tricky. There we go. So we're loading back in again now. So hopefully you guys can see this again. Right, let's choose a different track this time. Okay, well we're going to go to Manfield. I'm going to go to the New Zealand Grand Prix at Manfield, one of my favourite tracks in New Zealand. So make sure those are on. There we go. Right. Let me know if you can see it as well, by the way. Hopefully you can. Another great thing about rFactor, the original one, is that things load in really quickly. It used to take a while to load in when you had slower PC equipment, but with modern day PC equipment, you can actually load in pretty quickly. So here we go. Our first exploration with the twin engine Mini. And what happens? You stall it straight off. Okay, here we go. Let's let this gaggle of cars go behind us here and we can actually get ourselves some space. So here we are. Down to the first corner here at Mansfield. This is not typical Mini handling. Oh, it's pretty wayward. Kind of wrestling with it to try and get the power down. So Mansfield itself is a bit of a circuit of two halves. So you have a tight twisty section at the start of the lap, then you have a couple of hairpins and some long straights in between. So that was the first of the hairpins we've gone through, first of the long straights, and then hard on the brakes into the second of the banked hairpins as you come out of here. Car's trying to understeer on with all that power going through the wheels. And we come down the back straights into a big long banked final corner. Oh, this thing is mad. So it kind of is very twitchy in a way. It's trying to break away from you at every opportunity. Who knew you could spin a Mini on the power? Alright, let's try and change this a bit more now, shall we? You get on the brakes and the back end's coming around on you. So I'm not quite sure what you need to do to actually combat all the weird things going on. So the oversteer or the understeer, do you power into it to bring the car around back to its corrected path of travel, or do you just wait for it to do its thing and then gradually try and get the power down? It's yeah, it's a bit of an odd thing, but it's quick. 103 mile, 110 by the end of the straight. Yep, 110 mile an hour. So it gets down the straights pretty well. We are catching up with another Mini here, so let's see if we can hunt him down.
That was a 130.01.
The spotter on. There we go, at least we didn't spin out of the first corner this time. Yes! You can power out of trouble, sort of. But when it gets too far, there's no pulling it back. So here we go, and let's take a look back at our twin-engine Mini on track. Oh dear. It's a bit of a mad thing, that. Let's, for comparison's sake, let's do another Mini, but this time we'll do a... I was earning some cash from my donuts in my Mini then. Let's do a conventional Mini, and we'll do a 1275, so just one engine this time. Let's run... Yeah, red with black roof. That's the family coloured Mini. That's what my dad had, a red Mini with a black roof, so we'll run with that. We'll use Mansfield again as our test because it's an instant comparison. Hey SimRacer, very impressed you're doing RF2. This isn't RF2. This is RF1. I'm watching via my 4G router in my caravan in the Lake District. Oh, very nice. Good stuff. Hope you're having a good time in the Lake District. Hope the 4G's holding up. Right, here we go. Straight away. Different feel through the wheel. So, running RF1, we have what's called real feel, which is which transformed the feeling of force feedback back in the day when we were running this, and it really did make a big difference to how it felt to drive a car on rFactor. And straight away with jumping into this car, the steering is heavier. And although we have a little bit of oversteer going on, this time it is all about using the throttle to keep the car in check. So there, it's pulling off to the right hand side when I'm trying to get the power down. But it's a fun little car to drive. It's still loose on the rear end, but then you do see that the old Cooper S is kind of four-wheel drifting through the corners. That's what Burrow said. You drive like you have gold bars in the back and a carabinieri on it. That's how you got to drive these historic cars. You just have to go after it. Hey, Yoru, how you doing? Good to have you with us. Welcome along. Yeah, this is much more conventional as far as minis concerned. We just have a grid full of minis as well. Just balancing the throttle on the exit, just trying to get the power down, but also not understeer my way off into the grass. So yeah, back end will go light as we get on the brakes, just because of the crest in the road there, but camber will help us get around there again. That's better, getting the apex this time. Wow, few people play rFactor. Yes, they do. It's sad really, because it is actually still worth playing. It's quite an old piece of software these days. However, it really is still good to drive. I mean, we've got Fanatec equipment going on here, which this kind of thing wasn't around when rFactor was about. However, we can still get a decent feel through the wheel, and of course it runs beautifully because it's not up to the same standards as modern sim titles out there, so you can just throw heaps of cars at it and still get really good frames per second as well. So but the handling of the cars is one of the things which really stuck out to me at the time. When this mod was released, obviously it's right up my alley anyway, because I just love historic motorsport. However, you know, having driven GT Legends in the past, when that came out I was super excited for it again. But even though I loved it, the cars didn't quite drive as I was expecting them to drive. I mean, not that I should be an expert on how cars drive and what they actually like, but you know, when you get something like a Lotus Cortina, which you see everywhere, just going sideways and just being able to hold these massive drifts. In GT Legends, it seems to be there's so much grip in the car that it just wouldn't do that. But when this was released, the handling of the cars really did feel to me like it was just miles ahead of GT Legends in terms of feel. It was just so enjoyable, and I'd spent so many hours in my youth driving this particular mod. It was just incredible. That's a Ricky Muppets. Yes, the Italian job reference there. Had to be done with this particular car. Fun little thing. Haven't got any trailer units to try and drive this thing into, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's the Mini, and the conventional Mini driving as you'd expect it to drive. The Twinny, less so. It's just a little bit insane. So there we go, straight off into some touring car action. Let's go explore some other touring cars, shall we? So Frankie says, I'm impressed with how it holds up. Less impressed that they still want £19 for it on Steam. Yeah, I know. It still goes for quite strong money on Steam, but you can. I think I picked it up in one of the sales, obviously, when they do that, which is a shame because I already had it, but I just couldn't activate it because I didn't save the license to reactivate it from the regular install. You might be able to pick it up on something like CD keys or something. I'm not sure, for less. So there we go. So that's some of the minis. So let's do some more touring cars then. Let's well, speaking of those Cortinas, let's do this. Let's go grab one of the Cortinas. We'll do it in Ford spec. We've got to take the Alan Mann liveried ones, the red and gold. They're just so nice. Right, we'll have that one. Where should we go with this one? I think we should take it to... Where should we take it? Let's go mid-Ohio. With the chicane, opponents will do FIATC 65 again. And this time, actually, let's do it as a race. I'll have that car. Do mid-Ohio. We'll do just straight into a race. 10-minute. 35 cars, and then yeah, go. Now Mid-Ohio was one of my favourite tracks for rFactor. It really was. It had such a nice flow to it. Kind of got a bit lost on the world of iRacing. It kind of, I don't know, didn't get used as much maybe as some of the other tracks, but around here with these cars, very, very good. Right, so we're going to be jumping straight into a race here. So where are we? We're going to be starting... Oh, apparently P2. Okay, that's fine. We're on random grids anyway, so... Here we go. Let's get first gear up and running. Let's try and keep ahead of all those big muscle cars behind us. Smoking the rear tyres off the line. I know we've been got by a couple of them already on the first run to the first corner. Falcon and the Mustang up and away. Let's go get them. So they're obviously going to run off down the straights, but when we get to the twisty stuff, that's where hopefully the little Cortina will come into its own. So we're already back up with them just through the hairpin here. But look at that, straight away. Rear end is trying to swap ends on me. Lost out to another Cortina. With all that sideways action around there. Again, the lovely Lotus twin cam engine in this car, screaming away at high revs. We will get used to the car and get some apexes, I promise. Another car that's driven on the throttle, as with most of these historic cars, really. Just hanging the rear out just a little bit too much, but it's good fun. So here we go, up to the sweeping left-hander. Chuck it in. Chuck it in too early, catch the curb, now it is. Right, into the tight section. The Cortina's giving the Falcon all sorts of trouble ahead. Get out of the way. Have that on the exit.
202.
It's not really an overtaking corner, the first corner, but I'll give it a go anyway. keep on the tail of this Mustang through the hairpin here if we can, just to give ourselves a chance of getting up within the other end of the straight. See if we can go around the outside even. Here we go, got him! Now let's see if he's going to blast past us here. Here he comes. Touring car racing from the 60s, love it. See the Mustang, huge dive on the nose on the brakes. Come on. Let's work our way back in front again. So you get that initial understeer with the Cortina, and then when the live rear axle takes over, the rear end comes around and you're in all sorts of fun. It's just one long slide with this car. Well, we've had some change of scenery behind. We have an Alpha behind us now. I don't know where that Mustang went to. We hop on the curb and it got the rear end out. Bit of a lock up into there. Oh, there the Alpha's all over us.
156.23.
Nice big slide. We're still keeping the Alpha behind. Nice and neat and tidy through here. Oops. A little bit less sideways on the exit. Let's launch down the straight. So Maserati says, looks awesome, might have to buy this. Yeah, it's worth a go if you haven't given it a try. Bearing in mind you will need to have a copy of GT Legends as well. That's part of the install for this particular mod. It goes through a little check to make sure you have a copy of GT Legends, so you'll need to pick up both if you haven't got them. Just stabbing the throttle, just trying to play with where to get the power down. Oh, I don't care if I lost the spot, that was fun. Let's have a race with this Alpha. To the inside again into the hairpin. Oops. Is there a VR mod for this? I don't know. I know you can use Track IR. I'm not sure whether there's a VR mod for it actually. I'll have to have a look and find out. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that one. A bit of a gap on the Alpha there. And the other thing with this as well is the fact that you can actually, if you are a Fanatec user, you can actually use the analog stick for looking around as well, which some modern sims can't do. It doesn't recognise the look left and right as something you can do with an analog stick. It has to be a button. So there's a win for the old school. Thing. You've got to get the car set up for the corner, get it turned in way before you actually need to turn in, just so you can get the rear end to comply with a little bit of oversteer. Less wild Do that double right this time. We've definitely pulled a huge gap on the Alpha now. Let's just check it in here. Too quick. Just the way the car moves around underneath you is just so convincing.
That was a 153.93.
It's very satisfying as well when you do hook up corners correctly with the four-wheel drifting. It just, yeah, very, very satisfying indeed. Of course, only 4 gears in the Cortina, so there's not many gear changes around this lap. Hanging the back end out up until we use the curve as a berm to kind of bring us back in line again. Hey Marty, welcome along, cheers. Last week he said I tried the AMS1 VR mod last week and it's awesome. Oh, okay. That's cool. I didn't know they could mod VR support into titles. That's pretty cool. Just drifting for fun now. Tyres complaining at me. Might have to raise the AI difficulty for the next one. I think we seem to have completely destroyed them for some reason. How does the RF track here compare with the RR one, says Wardrow. Actually, very similar. I think there's very little to tell between the two. Layout-wise, you have the same feel as you go through it. So obviously, you get into a bit of a rhythm when you drive the corners.
54.24.
And that same rhythm exists in both Race Room and this version on rFactor. The elevation changes are very similar as well, actually. I love the chicane version. It's just fun to flick the car through there. Got up on the curb that time. Minutes are left in our race, but we are miles out in front, so we're not really having much of a race here. Let's come out of this for a moment. Let's go back to the monitor. I think we would need to up the speed. I'm kind of curious to have a proper race with that, but we need to increase the AI's capacity to race. So let's go to another test session, but we'll jump into a ka-ching of my coins entering my wallet. Thank you very much. It's back when in sim racing games used to have coins, used to earn money for performances and things, you know, and you had to buy cars. You know, obviously you got down here, you got a buy and sell car option. Not that you need to, because you can just drive any of them. You'd have to buy them particularly, but rFactor 2 had this setup where you had to own the cars to drive them in some cases. So yeah, very, very different. Okay, well that's some of the lower horsepower touring car action stuff going on there. So let's try one of the V8, shall we? Let's go with, I think with touring cars like this, we'd probably be looking at either the Mustang or the Falcon, or we could just do let's do some Trans Am actually. So we have the MC Javelin, and I'm actually going to drive one of the Camaros, I think, because you're going to love the noise. You really are. So we'll jump into the 70 spec Camaro. And we'll probably stick with... Actually, no, let's go to Sebring. Let's take them to Sebring. Let's go opponents. We'll put in Trans Am. So this has got not just the V8s, it also has the likes of the Alphas and the Minis and things in here as well. So we'll do that. Let's do a race around here and in Sebring in the Camaro. Again, another Virtua LM circuit, which is one that was, I guess, that modding team renowned with quality in the rFactor days. So anything that was Virtua LM was just lined with gold. It was just that good. So yeah, this should be fun. Loading in. All right. So this time we are starting P15, so we have a bit of a battle on our hands this time around. But there could be some tripping over going on because the field's so mixed up that you've got Cortinas mixed in ahead of Mustangs and other V8s and things. So, oh no, this is just testing. Of course it is. Right. Let's let everyone get themselves out of the way. Note to self: you need to add revs in order to pull away. So here we go. Big steering wheel in front of us. Let's unleash the V8. Ready? How good does that sound? Incredible. Great sounds. Another reason why the HistorX GT and touring car mod was so good, because the sounds really give each car life. I just love the noise when you change it up. You have that kind of gap and that kind of flutter as you engage the next gear. It's just brutal. Let's just smash past this Cortina. She's able to go later on the brakes than I am. There's some space on the inside. So one of the trickiest corners on the Sebring circuit. I have to get the car right through there. Never get tired of hearing that noise. Mini, poor unsuspecting little Mini, had to get absolutely destroyed down the straight by a big V8. Leaning over there. Good eye. It's just not fair, is it? It's just so good. Down to Sunset Corner. Very, very tricky corner. But again, the Sebring circuit, I know it's old technology we're going on with here, but it's just, it still looks really good. Little Alpha. Let's go. So there's a bit of a glitch, is there? I think I'm getting a bit of a glitch in game as well. It might be the track actually. Yeah. So good. I just can't get over the sounds of this thing. It really does. I know I've spoken about it a lot, but it really adds to the whole experience. Let's just check the frames here. So we're on 175 FPS, so strange that there's some little micro stuff that's going on. Backing it in. Just sliding it through this little complex of corners. It's always fun. Okay, glad I'm not having a stroke. Yeah, sorry. Right. I think if you drove around listening to this all day, you'd certainly get some tinnitus going on. But that's the other wonderful thing about it, is it just has this lovely fluidity to it, so although you get the car sideways, you can just apply the opposite lock and hold it there. It's not twitchy or nervous in its oversteer. Quite well balanced actually for a big car. And this is one of the cars which wasn't included in GT Legends, so this is something specifically added for the mod. Catching up with a couple of other V8s in front of us here, another Camaro and a Mustang as well. Funky's not glad it's his new 34-inch ultra wide. Very nice. Your monitors say Funky. We've been caught up by another V8 actually, someone right on our rear end. What have we got? Mustang right there. The big V8's definitely a car of choice in the Trans Am Championship in this era. But it would have been different classes surely for the slower cars, especially when you got a little bit more advanced with the later Mustangs. Camaro's getting held up behind the Mustang ahead. Those must be our black lines we've left on the last time through here. There we go. There's a lovely slide all the way through Sunset Bend.
Alright, that was a 233.60.
What a car. What a car that is. Yeah, that's it's a fun driving experience. I love these old cars so much, they're just so unique to drive. Right. What else should we drive? What else should we ever go in? go a little bit more modern, shall we? Let's go something 70s. What do you reckon? So we can go with BMW. We can go with a Thrustmaster. We could go. What else have we got? Sticking through here as to what the options we had. We can go a Capri or an Escort. I reckon we try. I reckon we try the Escort Mark 1 actually. Running the Castrol livery. This time we will go to. Where should we take these? Ruin. We'll go to the 74 layer, which has the chicane on it. Opponents. Let's do so many different variants here. Put 1970s on this. What's that got? GTMs. Yeah, that looks like the one. We'll go with that. So Funky's old graphics card hates me for it then, right? He has to run it at 1080 instead of 1440. Ah, okay, yes. I would struggle with the extra res. So the old Grand Prix venue for France, Rouen-les-Essarts. This particular circuit, it's actually really nice flow to it, and it's got that iconic bit where you have a hairpin and cross over a whole lot of cobbled streets. So we'll show you that when we get there. A different sound to start up with as to what the engine sound actually is. Now, this is going to be a bit of a screamer, I reckon. Let's get ourselves out of pit lane without speeding. Don't want to lose all that hard-earned cash by having a speeding penalty. Right, here they all come. Got a lot of audio distortion on the top end. Ooh, it's twitchy. Into the chicane we go. Ooh, that's a big curve. Right, down to the hairpin we go then. Ooh, goodness. Hello. Here's the cobbled section. Cross over that. Back up the other side. I'll try and remember where this circuit goes from here on in. Wow, this is super twitchy. Bearing in mind, even though it's got huge slick tyres, they're not the same as modern slicks. They have different slip angles. So a little bit scary to drive on. Stop it! Oops, just got nailed by another one. Right, let's I'm not actually enjoying the sound of that one. There's a very different sound to it. Let's go with one of the Capris instead. It's a loud boy, yeah. It's very, very loud, that one. Let's go with a Capri. I'll try that again. So Marty was running a GTX 970, which is what I'm running. Now you've got a 3070 Ti. Wow, nice. Awesome. That sounds good. Yeah, triples or ultra wide. Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? Whether you go with triples or ultra wide. I haven't experienced with. Don't have any experience with the ultra wide, but I have experience with triples. Not my one, but elsewhere. Yeah, it's down to personal preference, I think, really. But here we go. The big Capri. Head exit line and off we go. Another great noise. There's a V6 in this thing. V8's ahead of us, we've got the Thrustmaster straight ahead of us there. Stay off that curve, it's big. Avoid the tyres on the exit. Oh, this thing sounds good. Also got in front of us here one of the Ferrari Daytonas and the Alpine A310. And again, the thing with historic racing is you do get such variety in terms of straight line speed as well, so some cars will just absolutely disappear from you down the straights, and hopefully we can make up the difference in the corners. The same corner we lost it with the Escort. Still trying to figure out where I'm going around the circuit again. It's been a while since I've driven that ruin. Guessing by the tyre marks you've got to slow down for that one. There we go. Very classic looking track, this one. Not much in the way of runoff on the outside. And public roads as well. Difference between triples and ultra wides there, but also with triples you have the issue of bezels as well. You have to work out and try and get them lined up properly, which is not something you have to worry about with an ultra wide. Yeah, we're catching up with the Ferrari now. Caught it behind the BMW as well, by the looks of things. Have a tight hairpin we go. Need to be more gentle on the throttle because it's easy to spin up. Quite a quick corner that one, really. This one's much slower on the brakes. A second. Through there that time. Now this car was a very popular car of choice back in the days of GT Legends. If you were racing them online, and I can see people driving in this particular class with the Capri being one of the favourites. A little bit more wheel waving action going on to these never-ending twists and turns. It really does have a very different feel to it with the big slicks underneath you as well. Because you think there'd be loads of grip from them, but there isn't actually that much grip. Knowing the grass on the inside a little bit. Definitely quicker in this section of the course. The Alpine got a big piece of curve on the inside. That's the screaming V12 Ferrari. pretty quick, really, considering its age. Definitely getting more and more used to it as we go. So that's a corner to balance the throttle through there, because it really does like to try and get away from you. No, too long. We ran out of talent. Listen to those cars going past. So that's the Capri. It's a bit of a handful. Let's wind that back so we can see it, other than just crashing. It's so huge compared to the Alpine as well, doesn't it? It's this big wide bodywork on it. You'd have to keep it under control though, it's pretty mad. Right. Alright, so let's see, what else can we do? So Marty, you're suffering the same thing I used to have. So he said, Marty says, I need to build or buy a rig soon, as recently purchased load cell for my brake, means jamming heavy furniture behind my chair to keep me from sliding. Yeah. Yep. No, I had an office chair with casters, and then when I got these pedals, I had to turn the load cell all the way down because it was, yeah, and I didn't have them bolted down, so they're just tipping up as well. But now it's all bolted down, so it's all good. Right. Let's see what else we can do here. I reckon we go with, I think there's a Mercedes-Benz calling our name here. So we need to try the 300 SLR. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try this out. I'm going to go to Mainz-Finfen, and I'll show you this track. Kind of got a bit of a Cleveland feel to it. If you've seen the Cleveland track for AMS2, similar kind of vibe going on here. Let's put 1960s in. Got everything on there. Frank says, I would love a load cell brake. Surely it would be a second or so quicker. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, no, they do make a difference, just for consistency purposes, really, rather than anything else. You can still be just as quick without a load cell, but yeah, just for that consistency, because you're not having to you're not guessing how far you have to push the pedal. You're just guessing the pressure, and that's much easier to guess than it is. Oop. I think we got too many cars for the pit box. We have to boot some people. Boot them. Boot them. Okay. Let's get out of pit area, it's not really a pit lane. Wrong to drive this thing with a modern Formula style rim when you have this beautiful wood rim in front of you. But look at this, you've got a really cool paddock. Poor Ferrari Dino's trying to get out of its pit box. So here we go, we're right out onto the track. So again, this is an airfield circuit, somewhere where the DTM used to race. Onto the runway we go, it's time for takeoff. Again, sounds amazing. Right, 250, let's just get on the brakes nice and early. Not quite sure what we're dealing with here just yet. Flashes going off all over the place, which is unsurprising considering the look of this particular car. I thought we'd be taking a picture too. Very much a common theme with airport style circuits. You have long straights, hairpins, and then chicanes as you go through different taxiways. Flick it to the right. And use that much throttle. And this thing is just got so much power to it. Trying to thread this through the streets at Targa Florio must be insane. Now, I haven't actually got Targa Florio installed, unfortunately, so can't try and recreate that. Coming up on the poor little innocent Austin Healey sprite, which will probably completely embarrass me through these corners. We have a bit of power to get past it. Tyres all over the place when people have been clipping them. Oop, there's a Daytona Cobra going the wrong way here. What's going on? Sort yourself out. There's the concrete we are now. So let's go back this way. So although it's an airport circuit and flat, it is quite a good fun little layout, and it's nicely done in rFactor as well because it looks really good. I know there's not an awful lot of scenery to model around here, but the overall feel of it is really good. It feels alive and vibrant and nicely done. So. Stop. Slow down. Okay, that's good. This very expensive car on the tarmac, that's the main thing. I'm followed now by the Cobra. Too deep into there. It's good because you can really feel the weight moving around with this car as well. On all the cars in the mod, you just really get a sense of how heavy they are and where the weight is at any given moment. Usually slung way out to the left or right when you are going sideways around a particular corner, but you know where it is, and you can feel it, and you can react accordingly and attempt to try and balance it. Poor Mercedes is just constantly asking, when's the straight coming?
Alright, that was a
when can I go full throttle? Moving around a bit on the brakes. Time to slow it down, maybe. I love the noise on the overend. You have a lot of transmission whine going on, which is really cool. Too much. Force feedback kicking in, but look at that thing. This is so beautiful, isn't it? Just streamlined and elegant. Just not particularly elegantly driven at that particular point there. But regardless of my spinning action, the car still looks great. So, let's go and do another race, I reckon. It's time for some racing action. We'll put the opponent difficulty up. So let's go back to some touring car action. I'm going to take the Mark II Jag out for a bit of a spin. Hopefully just a controlled spin, not a complete spin. We'll go with Graham Hill's Aintree car from 1961, the By 12, very famous registration plate, along with By 1, which I don't think we have. I don't think we have By 1 in here. But yeah, so we'll remember that car. This time we'll take it to. Where should we take it to? Looking through the options we have on here. Well, we'll go to Laguna Seca for this one. Do the Laguna Seca. Let's put AI strength up to 101. We'll try that. Opponents, we don't just want Jags, we want 60s touring cars, please. Thank you. Let's go have some fun. Hopefully we're a bit further back in the grid as well, so we can actually have a bit of a race of this and see how we go. So Comate, another mod creator for rFactor 1, which who created fabulous things. We have Laguna Seca. He did a great version of the Nordschleife as well. Oh, that's more like it. P28 on the grid. It's given us some work to do in our 10 minutes. So here we go. Have the pre-race scenic shots. Okay, so what have we got around us? We have the slower cars in front of us. We have a Mustang. We have a V8 behind us. Let's see what we can do with the Jag. So much noise going on, I can't even hear my Jag. Let's get past this little bath. Down to turn 1, side by side with the Cortina. Cortina's trying to muscle his way in there. We've got the inside line, so keep it. Queuing up for the first couple of corners just to find some space with a shove in the back. So the Jag kind of sits in between the likes of your Cortinas and your Mustangs. So we have a decent degree of power, but we also have some handling to go along with it. Rather busy here. It's held up behind another car, another big shove from behind. Patient Ford Falcon trying to get through. And again, AI aggression is up at 50, but it's taking me out. There you go, off you go. Stop hitting my car. Oh, little Abarth's getting involved as well. It's the corkscrew. Beautiful wooden dashboard in front of us here. Not that we have too much time to look at that. Just trying to avoid all these other maniacs. Right, here we go then. Getting towards the end of the lap. Hopefully people are sorting themselves out. It's all still quite congested here as we try and through some of the slower cars which are further up the grid due to the random nature of the grid that we've used. Falcon blasting past us. There's another Jag up in front of us here. So we can at least get past that. Now the AI aren't exactly the sharpest tools in the shed, so they will get stuck behind things. Not quite as advanced as some of the later titles, which have much better AI. More big V8s forcing their way through. The inlay adds 5 miles an hour. Yeah, it does. Racing in absolute luxury. Oh, it's a big push out of the way. And the Cortina could do that. So you can actually make it 3 wide into the corkscrew, as you do. That's the culprit, it's this Mini slowing everyone up. That's that. Starting to have a bit of speed now, hopefully. These Falcons are super aggressive. It's forcing everyone out of the way. You'll see it later on the door panel. We left the ashtray in. Pipe holder, somewhere to yeah, somewhere to store your monocle. Held up by another car up ahead here, so I dabbing the brakes on the straight, stuck behind the Mini. Jag here. Excuse me. Crunch. Just got sideswiped by a big Falcon. Obviously this is all against the AI, but if you had a race with these particular cars against humans, it would probably, hopefully be a little bit more orderly, but be a little bit more in the correct way of things in terms of speed. Because even the faster cars would just simply just go past the slower Minis with ease. Regardless, we're still having a bit of a battle here. That was an avoidance cut. Didn't quite know where that Mustang was going to go. We saw those shotguns in the blue. Mark 2s if you come across, bro. I think these are the, I can't remember, I have to check. I'm not sure whether these are the 3.4 or the 3.8. So 3.2 will be by now, I'm sure. It's particularly good for car chases back in the day. Mostly the tail out action, which the producers loved. TV shows and things. So much quicker in a straight line than us, but that's okay. We'll be catching up with another Jag. Try and have a battle to be top Jag. So it seems we've left all the chaos behind us. It's all gone rather quiet. There they all are. Sitting in P10. I can actually finally get a chance to explore what this Jag can do. We have some space around us. Everything happens in slow motion driving this car actually. It's because it's quite heavy. It all moves in slow motion, so you obviously get up to a fair head of speed down the straight. When you get into the corners, you kind of turn in and the weight takes over and pushes you out to the outside, and then you apply some throttle, and eventually the rear end comes around and the weight catches up with you again. You just have to kind of just glide through the corners with this thing. Mustang. On that back. There's on the outside. Mustang's a little bit OP around here. You've got to maximise your run up the straight, up the hill. Carry as much momentum as you can. Sure, third gear's the one to do there, but these V8s are now being released from behind their slower cars and they're picking their way through. As is the case with quite a lot of these old cars, they have a fair amount of understeer, which of course you don't cure with the right foot, but if you're looking to just try and throw it into a corner and expect it to just grip and go, it's just not going to happen driving this thing. So again, you have to kind of get the car turning quite early just to even give it a chance of getting to the apex. And then, once you're there, just play with the throttle on the right foot and just try and coax the rear to cooperate. Does get around eventually. Just have to be a little bit patient with it. So we've lost our top 10 position thanks to all those Mustangs and Falcons coming through. Hopefully we can claim top Jag honours. Weight's killing us up the hill. Second gear to try and carry the speed up the hill. Oh no, there's another Mustang and I can take another spot off us. Go away. Stop on the apex. No way through that. Gaining up on the Mustangs that got past us in the first place. Oh, on the rear end. Just need some cardboard boxes to aim for on the inside there. The Jag would have been right at home. Nudge. This is where the Mustang will just cruise away from us, and that's the end of the race. We just lost down at the end there. P14. That was fun. Driving the big old Jag. Of course, all the gauges on the dash, they're all working as well. good car. Nice to drive. Very different. And that's the great thing about this HistorX mod is that no two cars are the same really, apart from obviously the same type of car, but in between, in all the different classes you have the different cars in them. They've all got their own little features and benefits, so it's good. It's good fun. Right, what else should we drive? You got any suggestions in the comments of which cars you'd like to see me try and handle slightly? Get your shouts in there, and we'll see what we can do. Marty, you grew up driving tractors and trucks from the age of 10. Fun times, also no accidents. Oh, good. It gives you a good rounded experience of driving tractors and trucks. That's awesome. What should we do? Haven't visited any Ferraris yet. We might have to do that at some point. Go through the list of potentials here. Kind of eyeing one of the CSLs possibly. Oh, let's try the Birdcage actually. Do the Tipo 61. Try and find a nice looking livery that we like. I think it should be red really. Try and find a red one. Oh, we'll go with a blue one. That's quite very pretty. Did you take the Cobra out yet, so funky? No, we haven't taken a Cobra out. So we'll drive the Birdcage and then we'll take a Cobra out. We'll do that one next. So we're going to drive this one. Okay. We're going to go to Silverstone. Now, bear in mind, this is probably not going to be the most accurate version of Silverstone you've ever seen in your life, just to put that out there. This is one that's included with rFactor itself. What should we put on here? Is there an option for 50s? I don't know if there is. Oh, there is. Okay, well, we'll run that. So yes, this is British Grand Prix, or the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, the old one, 2008 specification type layout, which we just recently did a thing on Silverstone on AMS2. If you haven't checked that out, go have a look at that, where we drove every possible layout on Automobilista 2. This is a particular layout that was featured in that. But this is nice flowing circuit for drifty, slidey cars, especially Maggots and Beckett's. So we'll try this out. Up against a whole load of other 50s sports cars. Love the high pronounced wheel wings over the front there, big arches. Oh, that sounds good. Now this, I seem to remember from the original manual for this mod, because they actually released a manual as well as just releasing the mod, which gave more information on the cars and everything to go along with it. I seem to remember, that this car, the sounds were taken from the very car that I spent quite a bit of time around with work. So this would be pretty much exactly as the car sounds in real life. It just sounds really good. So it's called the Birdcage, mostly because of all that tubular chassis stuff you can see in front of the steering wheel there. Making it look like a bit of a Birdcage type design with all the metal tubing crossing over each other. Into club. It's very willing to go sideways. Hugo says, I saw E-types dominate Cobras at Goodwood. Yes. In modern form, E-types have been massively developed the braking there completely. But yeah, modern E-types are now so advanced that they're just incredibly rapid. And they'll regularly beat most cars in their class. Goodness for 1960s tyre slip angles to get away with that. 1950s even. It's a nice depth of sound actually as well, lots of different little noises going on when you're on or off throttle. Locking the brakes, as you can see in the mirror there, pulling the smoke out the rear because I'm braking too late and over braking it. Maggots and back as we go. Let's chuck it in. The Birdcage is significantly quicker than I seem to be. That's okay. This year will be the first time I'll see in-person motorsports of any kind other than demolition derbies. Maybe some IMSA perhaps can do. Oh right, okay. Too busy reading that comment and I missed my braking, but that's exciting, Marty. I'm excited for you. It'll be an eye-opening experience for you. I'd love to go and experience some American motorsport at some point as well. Slow down. No. Oh, it's a handful, this thing. Bridge corner. Nice to drive. Again, the same traits going on here, a bit of understeer and then heaps of oversteer as you try and get the power down. I was always interested when this particular circuit was part of rFactor back in the day when it was released. I drove through Luffield and then there's that section of tarmac which is you go over and there's like a bump. It's like it's been resurfaced and I don't ever recall there being a bump like that of resurfaced tarmac on the on the apex of Luffield. So it's kind of like what's possibly brought them to do that, so I'm not quite sure why that's there because it's always just been a smooth section of tarmac from my memory. But yeah, this thing's it's quite wild actually in terms of its handling. When we are talking 1950s technology here. Wide. Just need to be even more careful with the throttle on this, just to try and keep it going forwards rather than sideways. Well, not too much sideways anyway. Alright, let's get it stopped forever this time. bridge again. Big curb on the inside. It is flat usually, but not in this. Off we go. Just floating off at Priory. Right, so if we can't handle a Birdcage, how are we going to get on with a Cobra then? Let's go and have a look. Let's go find out. That's quite a nice little car though. It's a challenge to drive, but fun nonetheless. Frankly, I've seen local rally stages, but that's it for me. Not much circuit racing up in the north of Scotland. No, Knockhill's pretty much it really, and probably have some sprints and things at some of the smaller circuits maybe, but yeah, not a huge amount to choose from up there, is there really? But Knockhill's good though. But yeah, definitely love a bit of rallying myself. It's fun. Right. So Cobra then. I reckon we go with a nice hard top Cobra. I'm going to go with the red with white stripes. Let's go with that iconic look. Very famous car as well, 39 PH. Right. So where are we going to take the Cobra then? Let's have a look. I'm going to take it to one of the fictional rFactor ones. These are really throwing it back now to the days of rFactor. In fact, I'm going to take it to Toban. Bit more flowy around here. So let's go with 1960s cars. Go. Toban circuits. The 24-hour circuit at Toban. Not a real circuit, of course. But quite a nice layout actually, and it's one that's been ported over to other sims as well. Obviously, it's in I think it's in rFactor 2. I know it's in a set of courses also. Someone's brought it across for that. But quite a well-loved rFactor track, Toban. Closest circuit from Marty, temporary road track. Belle Island. Ah, okay. Belle Isle. Yeah, that's a crazy place, that. Right. Let's go test out the Cobra. Encouraging noises, right. Camaro getting sideways out of its pit box. So we have a bit of everything in here, a bit of touring cars, a bit of GTs. Alright, let's try and tame the snake, shall we? Charm this Cobra. Wow. Ooh, no. That's too much. It likes to go sideways, but it does have its limits. To the hairpin. We start to go back downhill. We were climbing all the way up the hill. We go down to this fast chicane. Another Cobra with us. And then this long triple left here. Again, another downhill corner. This one drops away from you. I do love this next left. Just drops away on the apex. Always a Cobra's best friend, that kind of corner, obviously. Cut on the inside there. rodeo stuff in the Cobra is funky. Yeah, it is a little bit. I'll probably take it out of first gear and use second a bit more, just to try and keep it under control. Use all the torque we can. All that Stingray's coming through. It's only a test day. Get over. It's so rough. Patient GT40 trying to come through. Right. Oh, this thing's fun. All these AI cars have these 60s cars fully under control, and here's me just wrestling. It's where a round steering wheel really comes into its own. And you have to try and catch moments like that. Getting spicy, says Marty. I should try and catch up with the comments now. I'll have a chance to read them. I'm not sure if I was a smile or a grimace there, Phil. Oh, it's a smile. Too much. Oh man. New tyres, please. I think I've used those ones up. Let's see, can we do this actually? If we right click on there, it doesn't allow you to go back and view laps by clicking on them. Wind that back and we watch that full lap back where I try and keep this thing in some form of order. It's just sideways everywhere. It's just it's good fun. It's a real challenge, as are most of these cars in this mod, but you really can just hook up some of these corners and just slide all the way through them and just transition from one to another, which in the majority of cases with these older cars is how it needs to be driven. So here we go. Let's enjoy a full lap watching a Cobra trying to stay on track. There's a lock up into turn one there. Notice that? Come on, Phil. Get the power down properly. Get control. There you go. Everyone else is just so organised. They just get it to the apex and just smoothly apply the power and just drive it neatly. But I'm trying to get it to the apex by approaching it with my rear wheels. A little bit wide there, to be honest. Kind of orderly out of the hairpin compared to the rest of the lap. Backing it into the downhill left-hander. Again, that understeer, but then it's just so easy to get the rear end out, obviously. That's not how you drive a Cobra quickly. Oh, brilliant. Love it. Oh, that Ferrari sounded amazing too. Right. Arms are tired, replay to the rescue. No, there's more life in this. Just want to enjoy that moment. Well done, Breakout. More crab than Cobra. Yeah. Yeah, it certainly is. Likes to send all of the car around the corner in funny angles. Right. Well, I'm curious. Let's do some Ferrari action. Let's try one of those 330p, shall we? What have we got? Let's try a P4. Yeah, let's try some of this. We're going to take this little beastie to Le Mans. It's too late of a version. This is 90s version with the chicanes. It's not the old one, which I haven't got for some reason. I have to try and locate that one. 260s again, just another test day to drive this car. See how it goes. But again, more Virtua LM goodness, this particular track, so it's always a joy driving around here. Now this version isn't in its current format, so the first section of the lap is very different to how you would expect to see it in the modern day format. The latter part of the lap is very similar though. It's just this first section, which you'll notice. Takes a bit longer to load Le Mans. It's obviously a larger track, but even so, by modern loading standards, it's not that long really. So here we go. Let's go stretch some legs. Our prancing horse, shall we? Take it nice and easy out of pit lane. Here we go. V12 power. Right, so this bit is as you kind of expect to see, with the chicane going up underneath the Dunlop Bridge on the inside. But now, rather than going through the sweeping S's, you just have a straight. If we get up into the sweeping corners before Turk Rouge, which is here. Here we go, down the straight, Mulsanne straight we go down to the first of the chicanes, and now we get to really let it rip. Hi Mini. And the Cobra, which is by no means slow in a straight line. Right, let's get my brakes nice and early. You don't want to crease this Ferrari. Cobra's more brave than I am. Okay, through there. Queuing up behind the 911. We're not going to do that though. Nice vision through the bubble cockpit here. Stop. Gotta remember, it's not got GTE brakes, this thing. Plenty of opportunity to get back past that lot again. There's no mistaking that sound. No, there isn't. It's very distinctive, isn't it? Some funky saying that the Ferrari is a little more refined than the Cobra. The lift off over the crest there. Despite its refinement, it still manages to catch me out. Hey Wesley, welcome along. Unfortunately, WSC 70 and Le Mans 77 very arcade. Okay. It does feel a bit different to the other cars. As we get past that Porsche safely. It's quite loose in the steering actually. Feels quite vague in some places. And after this we go. Sound heading up towards Porsche curves. That's Plymouth to make way for us because it's didn't like being overtaken. Big nudge in the rear. Porsche curves look quite different, not quite as built up as it is now. So I have a chance to clear this Porsche now. Again, you're trying to brake at places where it's just not possible to brake. Fully by 904 now. Porsches are going up on me. Right. Respect the car. Try and force it to do something it's not capable of doing. Semi-successfully through the first chicane and then completely unsuccessfully through the next one. I know you can probably change gear a lot quicker than that. I just love leaving that gap just because you hear that. That speed going to 177, 180. 84, we had to hit the brakes. It gets to quite a high turn of speed by the time it maxes out. And driving at those kind of speeds in something like this, which, to be honest, is not the safest thing on four wheels. Quite a scary experience, I'm sure, in real life. Do a second multi chicane this time, though. It's a little bit greedy on the exit. Oh, looks like we're coming up on an E-type. I've not seen one of those this evening so far. Helicopter overhead. Take off. Speaking of which. Mark II Jag bit holding up its Jaguar stablemate there. Let's try and do a lap of the mall, shall we? Safely. Back up with the Dodge. A great sounding car. This time we're trying to get punted off in Porsche curves. Just stay behind them and not get rear-ended. There's our black lines going off exit stage left. Slightly different profile to the Porsche curves actually than what you would expect to see in the modern version. Forward chicane we go. There we go, we managed to complete a lap.
That was a 440.72.
Brakes on my car coming up the lane. Good fun. Nice car. Even has been a bit battered. Okay. Poor Ferrari. Okay, let's have a look, see what else we can see. Do a couple more cars, I reckon, here. I reckon we do another race in something. Let's do something in like a 60s GT. I'm thinking maybe high hisses ambient wind sound. Yeah, I think so. I think it's a wind sample. Well, a wind noise in the sample for the engine. I think. Yeah, I think you're right, Marty. So let's have a look through here. So I'm thinking we go something like a Lotus Elan, or maybe we do a Healy, which might be quite fun. Yeah, actually, I'm going to go with a Healy. Chris Childs Healy. These are all very much the same. I'll go with the nice British Racing green one. Where should we race some of these GTEs? I reckon we'll go back to. Going to go back to Mid-Ohio. This time we'll do it without chicane. I'll do. Find. GTCB1s, what's that? No, that's modern stuff by comparison. GTCB2. That's still going to be. GTC P0. Nope. GTC A3? Ah, there we go. That looks more like what we're looking for. Yeah, we'll run with that. Okay, let's do have a race with the Healy around here. It's been fun to be back in the HistorX mod again. Reminds me of why I loved this mod so much back in the day. It was just so enjoyable to drive, and you can just jump in any car and just have a really fun driving experience. And it's, you know, as I said, I'm a big fan of historic motorsport, and I love these cars anyway. And to have these particular cars represented so well in sim racing is great. So here we go. Let's take our Healy out. Oh no, we're not testing, aren't we? Let's do a race this time. We wanted to race these things, so same format. Go. See where it puts us on the grid. But yeah, no, I really am happy to be back in this mod again. It's been fun to rediscover it in a way. So many years of not driving an rFactor 1 and then coming back to it. Obviously, there's a few things you have to tinker around with and set up the wheel wise and get the force feedback right. It's still probably not quite optimized. I've probably changed a few more things and trying to improve that, but it's always a fun experience going back and revisiting something that you love from days gone by, and this is no exception to that. So here we go then. Where are we? Mid-grid. Initial reaction was pretty good, but a whole load of wheel spin off the line. I feel the car's going into turn 1. We're in the middle. Squeezed. Big bullies. This time no chicane, just straight up to the hairpin. Just feel that gap on the inside there, no problem. So many noises going on again. The poor Jaguar straight 6 gets ground out a little bit. Sort of shake going on trying to drive this thing. Camera shaking. You've turned the camera movement off, so I don't know why that's bouncing around so much. But noticeable at the high speeds. Yeah, this is not normally how you see historic cars being raced. They are a little bit more civil, usually. It's beat them up. Oh, someone's assisted my already wild oversteering going out of that. Oh, they were stalled as well. Right. Can we catch them over there? 9 seconds and then 10 seconds back. Right. Okay. We have some work to do. Long final corner. Let's try the car moving around there. These are 11s from our start.
Alright, that was
Yeah, no kidding, Graham. Hey, Graham. How you doing? Definitely getting a bit bullied there. Curve. Right, come on, let's see if we can bring that gap down a bit. So once again, the Healy has a bit of a crossover between the two types of car you would get in this particular class. It has got a reasonable straight line speed from that Jaguar 6-cylinder, but then you can also do corners too, so kind of a bit of a best of both worlds situation really with this car. do have a bit of right hand down on the steering wheel, so I think we may have a little bit of damage after all those shenanigans at the first lap. Chuck it in here, there we go. This is the section where we start to see what the little Healy, or the big Heelys, like to drive. Sort of sweeping corners and elevation changes to unsettle. We are gaining. We're only 8 seconds off the tail end now, so we have made it some time. So let's see if we can pick up some more positions before the end of this one. So of course, if we don't drop it, do my best not to. Get off the curb.
All right, that was a 149.60.
Right. Let's keep an eye on our lap time, see if we're actually improving. Oh, there they are. We're all still being held up by something, so that's helping. There's the hairpin again. On the lock stops, trying to get it back in. And we did it. As James would say, buffeting. Yeah, no kidding. It's pretty rough. Just gotta try and keep your eyes peeled on the coming braking zone in the corner ahead, and then get to the slower stuff. You can actually regather your eyes and see where you're going. There we go. Here's the pack, all going 2x2 through here, which is brave. Helping our case, trying to get back on terms with them again. I do like this car, it handles nicely. Big Heelys are actually tail happy anyway, that's their natural state. You do see them sliding around when you see them in action on the circuits. So it's very true to form, this particular car. But it's also quite progressive when it goes as well, so when the rear end does break free, it's quite easy to catch. We're back with the group once again. Probably some slower car holding everybody up and the AI having problems going past it. Much more control and hairpin this time, no wild sideways moments to keep us interested. Let's try and latch on to the back of these guys down the straight. So here we go, so we've got, Mustangs and Falcons, the big V8s in them. They're not really getting away from us down the straights. Brakes. I'll grab one of them into here. Just turn into us, why don't you? No problem. Not many places to go. There's cars everywhere. Roadblock with two big Ford Falcons like that. Be a chance. Mr. Mustang, you can stay back there, thank you. Let's go around the outside then, shall we? Well, we rounded up two of them, sort of. 155.16. Pull across in the braking zone. It's not ideal. the right hand side here. And it's criminal to do this, but AI needs. Must have to do that. Get back involved on the inside. Who's that? Oh, Ferrari. Actually, I can tell it's a Ferrari. You can hear that V12 a mile off. Some poke too. I think it's a 275 that one. 275 with a ding in the door, as are most cars in this race. The Stingray's being held up behind the 300 SLR. Oh, he's got us again. Let's try to skip the inside here. Someone's dented that Mercedes as well. It's like the Noah's Ark Invitational 2x2. Yep. On an orderly queue, please. Let's get the inside here. Yeah, he has no issues whatsoever in closing the door on you. We're not even there. What's going to happen here? There's just cars everywhere. The Corvette leaning on the Ferrari. I can't turn. You can. So help me. Middle of the road here. Again, out on the brakes. Very friendly assistance around the hairpin. Again on the exit. Gonna have to have a Days of Thunder moment after this, I think. People are going to be asking, this one part we don't have to fix. I don't want you spoiled, but. Inside this time, lean on the big Corvette for safety. Door's going to close, so we'll get in there while it opens. This little nudge is everywhere, there's another one. More of a sizable nudge, actually. Big pulley of a Corvette on his friend. Ganging up on everyone. Terrorising the neighbourhood in their big V8s. Right. One step forward, two steps back, and here's the finish line as well. Where do we end up doing all that? 29th. We got some positions back by the end. Well, that was pretty brutal. Got some cars with dents in them. Look at the state of that. Oh dear. Well, that was wild, but fun at the same time. Seems like the little Healy. It's a bit minor, but the state of my car. God dear. Go back to the factory for a V-shell. Right. Okay. Let's take a final look at something here. Let's sample some BMW goodness. We're going to go with a 3.5 litre CSL Schnitzer body car. I'm probably going to choose this livery because the black with the M stripes on it just looks really mean. But this is going to be a really nice sounding car. So let's take this somewhere where you can appreciate the noise. actually going to try this one out. This is it's not a track that I've actually driven, but it's one I came across on Race Department, so I thought I'd give it a go. It was rated quite high, so let's see what this is like. This is the Österreich ring, which has the chicane on it. Now, we've driven this circuit in Automobilista 2, so I've not driven it in this particular format from this particular person, so we'll have to see what it's like. But the video on board that kind of goes with the download looks quite good, so nice flowing circuit as well, and plenty of straights to let the straight six sing. So hopefully this is going to sound as good as I'm expecting it to sound. But usually you don't really get let down by a BMW straight six for noise purposes. So excited to give this one a go. So again, looks like we have too many cars for the pit boxes available as we're sat inside someone else's car. Let's just get out of here. Thank you. Right. I'm really getting a hurry up. Get off my bumper. We're not even anywhere near red line yet. Ready? We have the chicane hit. Texturing issues going on the bridge there. Overlook that. Let's look at the track layout. Yeah, it's that bounce on the gear shift which really sets it off as well. Down towards the... Save it. Somehow. I need to be ready for that little crest next time, I think. It's not quite that severe in AMS2, so we'll be ready. So this, of course, is the old version of what is now known as the Red Bull Ring in Austria. And there are elements which you can pick out of the current layout as well. Up over this. Well, hello. If we crest there. And this is just one big long sweeping final corner rather than the two that you get on the Red Bull Ring. It's a little bit different in terms of its elevation compared to the AMS2 version. The gear changes in this thing, absolutely superb. Not so much as my ability to understand where to brake. We will get it right next time round. It's too wrapped up in the noise, that's my problem. Again, another crest there, just waiting to catch her out. Plenty of nice tarmac on the apex to use to your advantage. You just can't help but chuckle to yourself listening to this thing. Right, beware of the bump. It's better, more controlled entrance to the hairpin this time round, rather than those skid marks which tell an interesting tale. This has a lovely bark to it, doesn't it? These corners are always really tricky to get right. You're just not quite sure where exactly you're supposed to apex to them, because they kind of go on for quite a while, but also change on the inside, so it's not a clear apex point. This time, I'll get it stopped for the first chicane. I think the countdown boards start from like 150, so you really need to be braking much earlier than that.
4.77.
So this time I'm going to brake now. A bit more like it. Harassed by a Porsche, all the RSRs trying to get in on the action. I'll just make my car extra wide by going sideways over the bump. So Alpha GT AM in front of us here on 914 as well. Oh, look at that 911. So good. Menacing in black too. You get boxed in though. I'll have that. It's 3 wide. It's quite skittish actually driving this thing, like the other 70s cars are. It's quite nervous. Comes the Porsche round 2. A bit better through that. There's the jump. I think those bumps there in MS2 says funky, but nowhere near as severe. Yeah, I think you're probably right. They are quite pointy, the crests. Not quite so much in MS2. It could just be down to the original model or the modeller's way of putting it together, but that's okay.
Alright, that was a 2-0.
I'm expecting laser scan technology going on here. Sound is so good. 914 coming up ahead. Let the RSR handle them first. Or maybe we can just blast past them like we did with the other one. He's only going to get stuck this time. Revving all the way up to number 9, is it? That was ambitious. Just trying to keep up with the RSR, that's all. Totally lost the line through there then. All muddled up with my gear changes. And then lost the line. No. Backing it into the final corner. Never a good idea. We've got a major off. GTA Am's got caught up. I think he's trying to pit.
That was a 2-0.
The 911 had him for breakfast and lost his front bumper. ski Sunday through the chicane that time, just sliding around all over the place. Oop, that's not coming back. Massive tanks left there. Oh, brilliant. That's a fun car. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up our experience here with the HistorX GT and touring car mod for rFactor. I hope you enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed driving that. And if you haven't yet tried this particular mod and you quite fancy the idea, I would encourage you to give that a go, because it is very, 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 very good. And it's nice if you have tried it before in the past, and yeah, go back and give it another go. It's still just as good today as it was when it was first released. And in fact, if nothing else, it really did make me remember just how good that was, and how lucky we were to have it when we did have it, because that's just pure quality. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. That was good fun. And we'll be back again for more action soon. We'll probably do some more rFactor as well. There are some other mods which I would love to revisit, so we'll have a look and see what we can do with those. One of those being particularly the Virtual LM Prototype C mod. So we'll look to maybe do some of that coming up as well. But yeah, that's about sums us up for this evening. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for your comments and for watching along and enjoying that with me. It was nice to revisit an old friend in that particular mod. So hope you all have a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves. We will hopefully be getting a video out to you this week. I know I said that last week, but I will do my very best to get one out to you this week to watch. But until then, we will see you very, very soon. Take care of yourselves and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. But until then, bye-bye for now.